Well, welcome to the Children's Groundwater Festival. We're here today talking with someone from the region of Waterloo. It takes a lot of people to make sure that we all have clean drinking water delivered to our house, and then what happens to the water? It needs to be cleaned after it's flushed down your toilet. So all of those pieces to get water to your house and to conserve and protect water take a number of dedicated people. So we thank Eric for being here with us today. Eric, why don't you start by introducing yourself to our friends and letting them know a little bit about your job.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Eric Thus. I am the risk management official with the region of Waterloo. So I work in the region of Waterloo's Water Services Department. And yeah, the work I do, a typical day for me is working with various properties, various property owners around the region on implementing best practices. And best practices are ways we can work while also protecting the environment. So that's my role, and that's what I do every day.
That sounds a very important job. We're glad that you're doing that for us. What would be the direct connection with water? Like, do you get to directly interact with water?
Yeah, so these best practices, the ones that protect the environment, they also protect our groundwater. So I work with the Source Protection Plan, which is just one of the ways we in Ontario work to ensure that all of our drinking water is clean and safe. So source water protection means protecting our water sources from activities or things that could cause harm, like storing chemicals, storing fuel, or salting our roads and parking lots and sidewalks during the winter. I guess a great illustration of what source protection is in kind of a quick animated fun video. I've got queued up here, so if we could, I could play that for us all and get a little insight as to what source protection is.
That's great. Our friends, I'm sure, would like to see it.
Okay.
This is Matt and his dog Buddy. Hey Matt, do you know where your drinking water comes from? Well, true, but in fact, before it arrives at your tap and before it's treated, our water comes from aquifers, rivers, and lakes. Municipal tap water is safe and reliable. Still, it's just as important to keep the sources of our water abundant and as free from pollutants as possible. Did you know that Ontario has a drinking water source protection program to help protect your health and mine? Areas close to municipal wells and areas that draw water from lakes and rivers are most vulnerable. Your local source protection plan lays out measures to help keep pollutants out of your community's sources of drinking water and to keep it abundant now and into the future. Everyone plays a role in helping to protect our drinking water. Discover what you can do at protectingwatermatters.ca. Our actions matter.
Okay,
well, that's
hopefully
great.
That played okay.
Yeah, I think our friends will get a lot out of that. Piece I got out of it that we're all responsible and we're all, need to be aware that it's our job to protect the water as well. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
Yeah. So what do you like most about your job?
Well, to be honest, I like that my job makes me feel good most days about the work I do. And I grew up not in Waterloo region, but I grew up in Southern Ontario on a farm actually. And I've always had a strong connection to the environment, to nature, to our water resources. So, I like that the work I do helps to protect water for, my family, friends, neighbors, and friends like all of you on this call.
Great. Are there any cool tools or things that you get to use with your job?
Yeah, the coolest tools I work with are maps. So I love maps. I've always loved maps ever since I was young. So maps tell us, where things are, but also provide other important information about an area or a property. So I've got a couple of examples here.
Oh, great. Yeah, we'd love to see them.
So this map tells us that the area. So this is actually an area in Southwest Kitchener, our Mannheim water treatment plant. So we have a number of groundwater wells on this big property, and so this map tells us in these red areas that activities we do, things on the ground, like putting salt down when there's ice and things are slippery, may have a greater impact on our groundwater in this area. So it doesn't, so things like salt application or putting salt down when it's icy, it doesn't mean that, we want things to be slippery and unsafe. So the work I do is making sure that we, say, are applying the right amount of salt, and we're minimizing or lessening the impact of salting or other activities, other things we do on the groundwater. And I have another cool map I can bring up here. So the other way I use maps and imagery is in this way. So this is again the same property, and this is Google Maps. So what I really find cool about Google Maps, for one, anyone can use it, but two, we have we can do these cool 3D things and slide around, sort of like I don't know, like we're hovering on a hoverboard or something, or flying a drone. But I use this, for various ways. So again, this is the same property, and when I'm looking at a property like this, and I can move around and kind of see what things look like, I can also get a sense kind of where things flow. So if there's any rainwater or any ice forming on this property, I can kind of see, okay, well, it's going in this direction. There's a catch basin here. Catch basins are features that help us drain the water away, anything that lands on a parking lot. And when it comes to winter maintenance and salting, we like to put we like to make sure that, say, we're piling our snow nearby these catch basins, so that when the snow melts and all of that salt that gets caught up in our snow piles, we can make sure that it drains quickly away, and it's not creating any more ice hazards that could be unsafe, or that could require us to apply more salt. So those are kind of ways we work to minimize the impact of activities and the things we do on the ground from harming our drinking water. And this is, again, just one of the other tools that we have available to us that we can play around with and get a little bit more information about a site without actually being on the site.
Yes, maps are great. They give us a different viewpoint on landmarks that we might drive by every day. So that's great.
Yeah.
With your job, what training or education would you need to be able to do that, to understand maps and understand how we can do a better job at protecting our water?
Yeah, so for this role, for my risk management official role, I have had very specific training that has taught me things like, how to work safely on a property, how to work with people, how to educate people. So I've had very specific training there, but more general training. So I've gone to school for, again, I've mentioned I've always been interested in maps. So I've always been interested in geography and environmental studies. So that's actually what I went to school for, environmental studies. And so I did learn about using maps, about making maps, about, finding information on a map, but also, some of the most important things I learned in school were a little bit more general. So, things that have helped me with this job are things like, learning how to problem solve, learning how to think critically, and how to work with people to come up with solutions that work for everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that sounds great. So I think I have an understanding a little bit of what inspired you to do this job, but if you had more to say on that.
Yeah. So again, I mentioned that connection I've always had to the environment and protecting the water we drink, and that's important. That's kind of what drives me every day to do the work I do. But the other thing that's really important to me is helping people. So working with people, helping them make good choices. And, for a long time, I actually, I wanted to be a teacher. I thought I would be a teacher. And what's great about the role and the work I do now is I have an opportunity to educate and to teach people about protecting the environment and protecting our groundwater resources, and again, making good choices that benefit us all.
Well, we and all our friends out there, thank you for the job that you do, because it is so important. Do you have any final words that you want to share with our friends?
Yeah, sure. It's a big wide world, but it's never too early to start making an impact. And so many of the things I was passionate about when I was all of your age, are things that I'm doing now that I'm still interested in. So follow your interests now, and yeah, see where it takes you.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Eric, for the job that you do and for taking time today to talk to our friends out there and giving them a bit of an understanding of one of the jobs that is out there in water. The Water of the Wellington Children's Groundwater Festival thanks you for being part of our virtual festival today. And thanks to our friends for listening in and learning a little bit more about how important it is to protect our water and one of the jobs that is needed in order for that to happen. So thank you.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me to talk today. This was great.
Good.